Hey everybody, how's it going? It's me, John, aka Nosy, back for my TFN Minicon Thoughts on Haul video. So yeah, I've uploaded already my vlog, my special TFN vlog. So if anybody out there that are not subscribed or don't know about my other channel, very quickly, check the description below. Little box. Well, you don't really see the box anymore. It's a bit weird. You've got to literally press on it in order for it to drop down, like. But you know. But yeah. So in the description below, I will link to my vlog, my special TF Nation vlog. That has already been uploaded. It's been up now for probably just over about 24 hours, probably a bit over. So if anybody's interested in checking out what it was like while there, and you know, kind of get a feel of it for those people, because I know there was some fairly, you know, TFN regulars or fellow TF nationals that didn't make the trip for whatever reason it may be. It's all cool, it's all good. Some people just couldn't come because it was too far, or they just couldn't afford it on top of August as well, or whatever else, or work. Whatever it was, you know, there was only so many people that actually went that were regular TF nationals, regular TFN peoples. Not everybody did. So for anybody that hasn't seen that vlog yet, and you're intrigued or interested to see how it went down, or what the actual convention looked like, and the dealer room and everything, then go right ahead. Link below. So then, before I get into my actual thoughts, I'm going to do my haul. I've only got like 4 bots, so I'm going to get my haul out the way first, and then I'm going to get straight into the nitty-gritty of my thoughts. So yeah, I only got 4 bots. My perception on going to conventions has changed a little bit. When it comes to the dealer room and buying toys, everybody's different. You know, you've got your people that are full-on collectors. I don't really see myself as a full-on collector. Obviously I do have a collection, but it's not the largest collection. Obviously I do have limited space, but yeah, I usually go for stuff, or try to find stuff, or if I see something that really appeals to me, like, oh, I like the look of that, I will pick that up. Or something that tugs on the nostalgia strings, you know, something from a childhood, or something that I used to watch that might not necessarily be Transformers. You know, sometimes, you know, because some stuff that gets sold in the dealer room aren't always Transformers. You know, you might get different lines. You might Power Rangers or something else. So yeah, basically that's it. You know, sometimes, you know, other stuff appeals to me. There's other lines out there that I do hold a special place in my heart. Different TV series that I used to watch, things of that nature. So yeah, you know, sometimes I might dip into different things, which is like other people out there that collect. You know, everyone's got different. Not, you know, it's not just one thing that they have, you know, an interest in. It could be a multiple or plethora of interests. Like, you know, that's the way it is. But yeah, so I don't usually go to conventions anymore with a massive shopping list and just blitz thousands of pounds. Yeah, I don't do that, and plus I can't really afford that, you know. So yeah, I just kind of go have a little mooch around. Literally, I went in the dealer room about 4 or 5 times, and just literally just walked around it, and nothing was bouncing out to me, and I just thought, right, okay. So the first, excuse me. The first thing I think was one of the first 2 figures I actually picked up were these 2. Can't remember who other was off. Oh, I think they were from Sven. Yeah, Sven Harvey, I think it was. Sven. I think it was his table. And he had these two. He had a load of legacy toys on the table. So I picked up the new Legacy Evolution Hotshot. I believe that's his, yeah, Hotshot. So yeah, I never had the original Hotshot toy. I know a lot of people had thoughts on the original toy. Some people think it's one of the worst Transformers ever made. Other people really like it for nostalgic value more than anything. Yeah, so this is a figure I was not going to pick up at first, but I just thought this was a very popular choice actually at Minicon. A lot of people picked this guy up. A lot. There was a lot of people playing with this guy in the bar. A lot of people had this or bought this at the convention, so this must have been on a lot of people's radars this past weekend. So yeah, so I picked this guy up. Quite happy. Nice to see Armada's getting a little bit of love as well in the recent lines, as well as Beast Wars and other things. And then the second figure I picked up from Sven's table, I picked up this guy, Legacy Breakdown, who basically combines into the Menasor. This, I believe, is the final piece I needed to complete my Menasor. So now I have a complete Legacy Menasor. I thought I pre-ordered this guy, but for some reason I've had no notification of anybody. So I don't know whether I have or not, or whether it's a delayed thing or what, I don't know, but I have it anyway. So if I do happen to get a second one, then I'm probably just going to put it up on eBay somewhere, or if anybody else out there wants it, then I'll probably sell it to somebody else that's after one. But yeah. So I got Legacy Breakdown as well. So I'm very happy that I've finally got a complete Legacy Menasor. So at some point while I'm off, if I can, I'm going to finally combine this guy, because he's literally been in like, most of these component parts are literally still boxed. Motormaster and Dragstrip are the only two that I've actually taken out the boxes. The rest of them are still like this, because I've been doing that purposely, because I wanted to make sure I had all the components in order for me to just do it and put it on display out the way, and then yeah, and then I can actually review all the components together, kind of thing, as like a big video or whatever, or do it in parts, I don't know. But yeah, so finally got a complete Legacy Menasor thanks to getting Breakdown. And then the final two things I got off of Toy Fu. Toy Fu was there as well. And I picked up, this is one of the things I picked up. It was only for about 10 quid. It's a figure that is an incredibly ugly figure, but it has a little bit of weird charm to it. Some people probably might think, why the hell did you buy that for? But end of the day, I love Beast Wars. I love the basic toy line for Beast Wars. There is some really funny, stupid figures that actually never really, I don't think actually saw the show, but were included. I think this character is either Beast Wars 2 or Beast Wars Neo, or he was part of the original toy line, but he just was not in the show. I can't quite remember. Somebody out there probably might be able to educate me there on that. But I picked up Optimus Minor. This really is a little guy. He's actually in very good condition. The gold plastic here on the chest and everything, he's actually really, really nice. There's no paint chip on it or anything. So yeah, I got an Optimus Minor. I've never had this figure. Never had it ever. So I'm quite happy to have this, because it's a very obscure character, and happy. Some people out there probably think, why the hell did you waste money on that? But end of the day, it's Toy Fu. You know, I thought, right, this is only a tenner, and the other figure I got from Toy Fu as well. So together, you know, it's going to a good cause, and it's a figure that I've never had, but I have considered picking up in the past. This guy goes for a lot more on eBay. I've seen this guy go for a lot of money. So, and the fact that he comes with his tail accessory as well is not bad at all. I don't know if he's missing anything else, but end of the day, I can always find out. And then the last thing I picked up was this awesome guy. Transmetal 1 Megatron. Very happy indeed with this guy. This guy, he only cost me about 40 quid complete. I'm sure it's complete. I think he only came with this originally, I think. So yeah, I'm going to be very careful. I can already tell people, I can already see people typing on their keyboards while watching this. Yeah, I already know the horror stories. I've already been told many times. Even Toy Fu, the guys behind Toy Fu, they gave me bubble wrap. They physically gave me bubble wrap to make sure this guy was wrapped up properly. Oh, he said, because literally I think it was Nick from Toy Fu. He literally said to me, here's some bubble wrap and here's a bag. I didn't want a bag, but he gave me a bag and he gave me some bubble wrap and he said, make sure you wrap it up properly, otherwise he's not getting home in one piece. And I went, yeah, no worries. I already know the draw with this figure. However, I have had this guy before, and I never had a problem with my previous one. But yeah, for some reason, a lot of people have said literally they transformed it once and it was fine, and then they've done it again and it's literally just fallen apart in their hands. Like the plastic's just destroyed. This guy seems very, very good. However, I have transformed it once since I got it. It was in robot mode on Toy Fu. I've transformed it once since I got it home. From to T-Rex mode and then back to robot mode. I've done it once, and I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do it again just because I want this guy. I want this guy in my collection, and I want to make sure he's in good condition. I don't want to break him. I know because obviously there's a lot of gold plastic, and especially in the in the joints as well, which yeah. So you got to be careful. But yeah, doesn't it look beautiful, people? Such a beautiful figure. Yeah, like I said, I used to have this guy a few years ago. I say more than a few years ago. But when I lost my job, this was back probably when I was at Asda, probably. And I lost my job. And I was out of work, and I had to turn to my collection in order to try and get myself some money put away, because I didn't know how long I'd be out of work for. At this point, I'd probably been out of work for about a year. When I first lost my job, I think I was out of work for over a year altogether. And yeah, it was looking a bit scarce. It wasn't a good time. And unfortunately, I had to sell a lot of stuff in order to try and raise myself some cash. This figure was actually one of the figures I actually sold off, and I regretted, because this guy's actually becoming quite increasingly difficult to pick up, either not broken or with his piece, with everything you need. And it's actually going up in price as well, I've noticed. So yeah, I'm quite happy to have him, and he's back in my collection. Very happy indeed. So yeah, that's the haul. So yeah, that's taken longer than I was expecting, but end of the day, that's the beauty of going to these conventions, is finding stuff that you can either get back You know, something that, because there's a few figures that I've had to sell over the years that I had to sell for a certain reason. They were a figure I knew would sell and I'd get a decent price for, things of that nature, and you know, needs must. End of the day, these are just toys, but well, they're not just toys, but you know what I mean. They're, you know, your livelihood is a lot more important than a piece of plastic. You know what I mean? That's just how I see it. But yeah. So unfortunately, there is a few figures that I would like to get back again. But I'm very happy to have this guy. All I need now, I want to get myself a Transmetal 2 Megatron. I do have the Legacy one for Transmetal 2 Megatron, the new Legacy one. I do have that, but I want to get the original figure. I want to get that guy, and I want to get the Cryotech one to go alongside it, which is the blue one, which is increasingly difficult to get hold of. Well, I wouldn't say it's difficult, but it's expensive. Anyway, so there we go. So that's the haul. Thank you very much for that. Very happy indeed to finally complete my Menasor, and also to get Transmetal 1 Megatron back in my collection. Very happy indeed with that. So then, let's get on to the next segment of this video, which is going to be my thoughts on the actual event itself. So, where do I start with this? Because what I'm going to say now, what I'm going to say is, it's not a reflection on TF Nation whatsoever. It's got obviously nothing to do with them. You know, it's got nothing to do with the convention at all. It's just my personal experience of getting to Manchester on the Friday, and also me trying to find the hotel on the Friday. So yeah, that was a mission in its own right for me. I got teased a little bit, all in jest. I get it. It was funny. I laughed along. It was good. It was a good time. But end of the day, some people didn't really know the ins and out of what I went through that day. It started off perfectly fine. I got on the original train from Hull. Originally, I was actually going to get to Manchester via the coach, and I was actually going to get there pretty early afternoon. I think my coach originally was about 8:30 in the morning, and it would have got me into Manchester for about 11:30, so around noon. I would have been in Manchester for around about 12 o'clock. And so that was the original plan. However, something came up. I wasn't able to get the coach. I wasn't able to get to Manchester for that time. So unfortunately, I had to rearrange. I got myself a train ticket in order to get for about 5 o'clock. I think it was 3 minutes past 5 in the afternoon or evening, from Hull Paragon Station. So I had to. So yeah, basically that was the change. So I had to go via the train. So the train. So from Hull to Manchester, there is no direct route. You have to literally divert at a different station and then go from there. So my diversion station was Leeds. So it was Hull to Leeds, and then from Leeds, I had to then get a Manchester Victoria train. For some reason, Hull to Manchester, you can't get. Hull to Manchester, we're not able to go to Piccadilly. So yeah, I'm not sure why, because when I went to go and get my ticket, my train ticket, I actually went to the actual ticket office, and the guy behind the desk actually said, yeah, you can't go to Piccadilly at the moment. You have to go to Manchester Victoria Station. Now, I'm not familiar with Victoria Station in Manchester. Whenever I've gone to Manchester in the past, it's always been Piccadilly, and I'm more familiar with that station. So yeah, right, okay, fine. Had to go to Manchester Victoria, no problem. So yeah, so got the ticket there and sorted. So yeah, so basically on the train, got the first train from Hull Paragon Station at 3 minutes past 5. Everything seemed to go fine at that point. Got to Leeds, and there was a problem with my connecting train to go to Manchester Victoria. So I was at Leeds Station for probably about, I think I was all in all about an hour, probably about an hour, just literally wandering around Leeds Station, looking up on the boards, and for some reason, I don't know what had happened, but the train I was supposed to get, the connecting train, there was a problem with that train, and so I had to wait for the next available train in order to get me to Manchester Victoria. So that held me up a little bit. So by the time I actually got on the next available train that managed to come in, I finally got to Manchester. I think it was around about 9 o'clock. I think I finally got into Manchester Victoria about 9 o'clock at night. So, as I said, so basically I went straight outside, saw the black cabs outside, and I went, right. Went to the guy and went, can you take me to Manchester Piccadilly Hotel, London Road? And the guy just looked at me and said, oh no, my friend, you don't need a taxi. You just need to go up there, go to the right, and it's about 5 minutes. And I was like, right, okay, fantastic. So I thought, right, okay, I'll take his word for it. It's only pretty much around the corner. That's fine. Was it around the corner? It probably was. I'm not familiar with Manchester. So I go along on my way, and yeah, I got lost a little bit. I got lost. It got a little bit freaking stressful. Not a little bit, it got very stressful. It was pissing it down with rain at that point as well. And I just wanted to get there. I was miserable, I was pissed off to the point of the fact that the freaking taxi guy wouldn't take me, and everything. And so I'm getting phone calls from my dad, making sure, wondering where I am, because I've not let him know that I've got there. I've got Lawrence, because I was sharing with him. We had a room share between each other, so he was wondering where I was. And then everybody in the bar back at the actual hotel were all wondering where I was. So I had about like a 5-way conversation going with people, and I was just like, for crying out loud, I just want to get there. So yeah, I use Google Maps. I'm never going to use it again. But yeah, I've used Google Maps a few times, and I've never had a problem. But for some reason, using it in Manchester, it really does seem to confuse it a bit, because the arrow was quite literally pointing in the direction I was walking, and then it would literally just go and back again. So it was as if I was just walking in circles for about over an hour. Altogether, I was about 2 hours walking around Manchester. Getting off the train at Manchester Victoria at 9, I didn't get to the hotel. I finally got up to the hotel at 11:30. So yeah, that was a bit pissed. I was a bit pissed off. If that makes any sense. I was a bit pissed off. What also I need to mention is, there's more than one Manchester Piccadilly hotel, isn't there? I didn't know this. I thought I'd finally found the hotel. I'm on the phone with Lawrence, And I say, right, okay, I'm describing where I am to Lawrence, and he's saying, yeah, you're there. You're literally just around the corner. And he said, right, I'm going to come down to the lobby. I'm going to come down to where you are and see if I can find you. Like, yeah, fine, fantastic, brilliant. And I'm just like, right, walk into this hotel, and it says the Manchester Piccadilly Hotel. So I walk into this hotel. I'm like, this does not look like the pictures. This does not look like what Billy described. It looks nothing like the hotel. And I was like, this is not the right hotel. So I rung my dad back because he's been trying to ring me. And I rung him back and I said, right, I'm at a hotel, but I don't know if it's the right one. So luckily there was this real nice helpful guy on the concierge desk on this other entrance. There was actually two entrances to this hotel. There was like the street one, and then there was this like a car park entrance as well, where the actual reception was. So, but luckily there was this real nice guy on the city entrance that I came in at, and I went over to him and said, "Oh, I wonder if you can help me." He actually had a look on the computer to see if I was actually there or not, and he said, "No, you're at the other Manchester Piccadilly." And he actually gave me a few directions. You just go up there, and yeah. So okay. So yeah, that was the Make Your Manchester Piccadilly, which is like right in the Manchester city centre. It's like proper central. So that was apparently I found out later. Actually, I think it was the Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. I found out that I was not the only one that made the same mistake. Apparently quite a few people, some people actually booked there by accident, thinking it was the actual one for the convention, and also some people actually turned up to that one thinking it was the right one. So yeah, I was not the only one. There was actually quite a few people. There was actually a major issue there. It was just because the problem is again, I don't blame TF Nation for this. It's not their fault whatsoever. I don't blame the convention whatsoever. It's not their fault. What I can blame is the hotel that we were staying at. They chose to change their name very recently. It was originally called the McDonald Hotel. And they very recently, yes, TF Nation actually did acknowledge this change of name. So this is why I'm not blaming TF Nation. They did their due diligence. It's the hotel. Because the hotel, they just decided to change the name shortly after the tickets and everything went on sale for Minicon. So they decided to change the name to the Manchester Piccadilly Hotel when they probably knew full well there was another hotel in only about 10 minutes away with the same goddamn name. I don't understand why they did that. Why the hell do you need two hotels with the same name? I understand if it was a Holiday Inn, because the Holiday Inns are a chain. Holiday Inns, the Holiday Inns, Hiltons, all them, they're a chain hotel. And I know Maycure, I've heard of Maycure before, which I think's again another chain. But the fact that the one that we was actually staying at was actually called the McDonald, which makes me think it was either more of an independent hotel or I don't know. But anyway, so yeah. Long story, well, if I can do long story short anymore, I don't think that's going to happen anymore, to be honest. But yeah, so I finally got to the right hotel, and it was all thanks to Lawrence, to Adam White, to Emily, and to Jermaine, and also a couple of other people that was in the bar as well. If it wasn't for you guys, I generally probably wouldn't have got there for like another hour, because I was starting to get I do suffer from anxiety, and my anxiety was peaking to the point of I was freaking the fuck out a little bit, and also very stressed. And I do suffer from high blood pressure. I do take Remipril, which is a drug to help control blood pressure. So basically, I was very concerned about my health a little bit at one point. But yeah, so it was, yeah, Friday was not a good day, really. It started off promising, and then it just went downhill when I finally got to Manchester. And the fact is, I asked, and I didn't mention this, there was a second guy, a second cab driver. I asked 2 taxi drivers, 2, and they both said no to me to take me to the hotel. 2. And when I finally get to the hotel, the right one this time, the actual one where the convention was, basically Jermaine said to me that that's a bit strange because a couple of the women that was in the bar that was also attending TFN Minicon, apparently they literally paid a taxi driver to go about 5 minutes just down the road, and they happily took them. But for some reason, they wouldn't take me 10 minutes round the corner. I don't understand what happened. I cannot understand what the fuck happened. I just don't understand. I've never had this problem in Birmingham. Never had that problem. As soon as I get off the coach, I either go directly to the black cabs outside and they take me to fucking NEC. I don't have a problem. Or I walk through Bullering and go to New Street Station and get a train further up the track. It's that fucking simple. I don't have a problem. But Manchester, their taxi drivers are fucking idiots. And I don't like Manchester. Sorry, I just don't like Manchester. It was not a good experience. Anyway. So, yeah. So, that's basically that. Sorry that took longer than it should have. But, yeah. Some people need to understand my side of it, because some people were seeing the funny side of it, and I did start to see the funny side of it when I finally got there. But some people were starting to maybe suggest I was just fake. I wasn't. I know I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but somebody once told me. Sorry, that just kind of slipped in there. I know I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, as the song suggests, but at the end of the day, I don't know what else I could have done. I understand that, Adam White and Emily, a few people actually suggested they would happily come and meet me. I wish I'd kind of taken them up on that now. But I just wanted to just get there, going on the directions I was given and then going by Google Maps to try and help me out. And it just got so confusing. It took far too long. But anyway, so that's that side of the story. So now getting into the actual thoughts on the convention itself. The convention on the Saturday. Well, actually, when I actually finally got there on the Friday, I will just say this quick bit. I met up with Jermaine Lawrence. I saw Adam White, and there's a new guy. I've forgotten the guy's name now. Jermaine might know if he sees the video. I can't remember now, but it was a first-time attendee. And we were talking to him as well. So it was actually, the Friday evening when I finally got to the hotel was actually kind of cool. I needed that. I needed that release. I needed that escapism to a point, because I was physically shattered, because I was probably walking for like 2.5 hours around Manchester. Probably walked about 3 or 4 miles, without even knowing it. And then basically, yeah, I was physically exhausted to the point when I finally got there. So I managed to have like a couple of pints with Jermaine and everybody and have a good laugh, which I needed. And so yeah, the Saturday, the main convention day, was absolutely brilliant. It was brilliant. As I said in my vlog, my special vlog for it, basically, it was very like an old school meet-up vibe. It had more of a meet-up vibe. It felt more like, as TFN call it, the gathering. They call it gatherings. It's like the gathering. So basically, it felt like one of those. It felt like a gathering, where you basically it's a meet-up with loads of people, and they basically just go around the shops. It felt like that, but this time it was actually at a hotel, and there was a convention actually happening at the same time. It just had that vibe to it. Felt more like a meet-up than an actual convention, which was not a bad thing. That's just how I felt, and a few other people felt the same way that I spoke to. So yeah, the convention itself was much smaller. Obviously, it's mini-con. It was a much smaller affair. It was what I would come to expect from TF Nation. Well organised. The sound quality, I will say, I'm not saying this to be an arsehole. I'm just being honest. The sound quality from the PA stuff wasn't as good as what I come to expect at Birmingham. However, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it to a point. I'm just saying that it did sound very quiet. It's that the sound sounded quite muffled and quiet to me. But like I said, I actually spoke to Dave Wallace, Calopram, on the Saturday evening, and somebody else actually brought that up, saying that the sound quality wasn't as good. And he says, well, and Dave just said, well, when you've got to literally, there's a big difference when you pay for it, pay somebody to do it like a professional, and when you actually have to bring your own equipment with you. So I actually think that was somebody's actual personal kit, either Dave's, I don't know, but it was somebody's personal kit that they had to just use somebody else's equipment. So it wasn't as good quality. It wasn't as good as the sound quality or whatever that you come to expect from the main convention in Manchester, in Birmingham. But no, I mean, I know I'm saying that, and some people might think, oh, that was a bit below the belt. No, it's not below the belt at all. End of the day, these are my thoughts, and they want people to be honest. I mean, Billy's told me to my face that, if people have had a problem or feel that we could improve, the TFN crew are more than willing to listen to creative criticism and to listen to people's pros and cons, because that's how they grow as a convention, how they manage to a degree, how they can maybe improve and work on stuff. I mean, end of the day, this was the very first mini-con in TF Nation history. All right, this is the first one since TFN ever started. TF Nation have only ever done the full-on 3-day events up to this point, and that is where that's where it's all been, is the 3-day events in Birmingham. So this was the very first time they actually attempted to do and put on a 1-day event, a mini-con. And to be honest with you, I think they did a grand job. I really do. They put on a great event. It was much more of a chilled atmosphere. The convention itself, I believe, really kind of rejuvenated the spark in some people that actually attended. The conversation, the way the conversation was going in the bar, and when people I was talking to, is I noticed a lot of fresh faces, a lot of people I've never recognised, or didn't recognise, yeah, it was a lot of fresh faces, a lot of first timers, and I generally think that was the whole idea of Minicon, was to both bring familiar faces and also try to appeal to a wider audience. And I generally think TF Nation Minicon or TFN Minicon was a success in that way. I think somebody told me that about the numbers. I think they said that even though it was a Minicon, I think the numbers were relatively quite high, considering it was literally just for one day. I'm not gonna say what the numbers were. I'm gonna wait for the TFN guys to actually make an announcement on that if they decide to. But yeah, it was a good event, regardless of my experience of getting there. The actual event itself was fantastic, and I have all the support in the world for Billy and the team behind him. You know, it was just brilliant. It was nice to see some familiar faces. I had a good laugh. I mostly hung out with Jermaine this weekend, and saw Adam White. I hadn't seen Adam White in ages. I saw Chris and Tim Gaunt. I saw those. I saw I saw Andy and what the fucking hell's his name? Basically, the TFUK guys. I saw those as well. David, Calopram, Billy, the other Dave, Patrina, Grace, Lawrence, obviously. Who else did I see? Regular. Oh, Bisto, Richard. Trying to think of names. I think that's all I can think of top of my head, anyway. But I think that's pretty much covered the familiar faces. Oh, there was Toy Fu guys, and there was another guy who was a trader. I think I've got him on Twitter, on Instagram. I think he's Cybertron something. I can't remember now, but he was one of the traders. He recognised me as well. He was a real nice guy. So yeah, it was a really, really good convention. It had a good vibe to it. I really did enjoy it. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to August. I really am. The big Mama Jamma. Anybody that was unable to come to the Minicon, hopefully they will be going along to the one in Birmingham. I really hope so. It'd be nice to see some people again that couldn't afford it, or whatever the reason may be, couldn't make it. But yeah, it was a good event. I really did enjoy it. Also, I have to say this. I don't have to, but I am. Yeah, basically, Chris and Tim Gaunt, they're very, very good at. Yeah, they've got a good system going. When they want to trap, when they want to trap a geek or a nerd. Funny story to this. Basically, in the bar, I wasn't looking where I was going, which is kind of typical. I kind of tripped on something, and it was actually Chris and Tim's phone on charge, and they kind of had their phone plugged into a plug, and they were just charging the phones off, and I didn't look where I was going, and I kind of tripped over their charger cord, and the phones went all over the place. And I apologise for that, by the way. I know I said sorry to you in person, but I apologise for that. But no, it was an effective trap. You both do a fantastic job at being able to trap a nerd whenever you want to. But yeah, so yeah. So yeah, very quickly, I just want to say a big thank you and shout out to Andy, to Emily, to Jermaine, and to Lawrence, and to everybody else that generally was concerned about me while I was travelling up on the Friday. Thank you all for being there and for your support and for your assistance if I needed it, which I generally did, but I never took it. I'm an arsehole, I'm an idiot. But yeah, I want to just thank those people for their generosity. Even though Adam was actually helping to organise the event, he was actually one of the volunteers. Sorry, so he was busy, but the fact that he actually, would actually quite happily help me out. I really appreciate everyone that I named there. Thank you to you all for being there at my time of possible need, or me being abducted, or me being probably taken down a black alley somewhere, because that's the vibe that I got from that Friday. Yeah, it was, yeah. But yeah, thank you ever so much to those people for your support and for helping me out and being generally concerned about my well-being. That was actually quite nice and quite humbling to know that some people generally did care about me. That was really nice. But yeah, thank you ever so much for watching. That is going to be it. That's going to be this video is a lot longer. I apologise. A lot of people don't like long videos anymore. But there was a lot for me to get out. And but yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. More videos coming. I've got a video review, a Transformers review coming. That'll probably get uploaded tomorrow or whenever this week. So again, for anybody that hasn't seen my special vlog, link below, if you want to go and see it or watch it or reminisce of the weekend if you wish, below. But anyway, so thank you ever so much, and I'll be back with more videos very soon, and see you soon. Bye bye.